King of glory. Bring joy. Shine. Bring joy. Coming with power. Bring joy. And coming with glory. Bring joy. It's time to celebrate. Bring joy. Oh, yeah. Bring joy. The King is coming. Bring joy. He's the Messiah. Bring joy. He's the Lamb of God. Bring joy. The mighty, mighty Prince of Peace. Bring joy. Oh, come on. Bring joy. The Lamb of God. Bring joy. He's so worthy. Bring joy. Come on. Bring joy. He's worthy of glory. Bring joy. He's worthy of honor. Bring joy. Lift your hands and bring joy. Come on, everybody, and His name is Jesus.
May our hearts be open. 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 May our hearts be open.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's Open Heart Spiritual Center virtual service. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be. And I'm just so grateful that you've chose to join us. I want to say welcome, family. And if you're joining us for a second time, welcome back. And we're now family. And I'm just so grateful to have you a part of our family. If you're joining us for the first time, please come back and join us again. I'm so grateful for our Open Heart Spiritual Center family, for the message and the vibration that we put out into our world. I'm so grateful to know that we can change our thinking and change our lives. So grateful to know that that gatekeeper that stands at the forefront of our thoughts, that we can give that gatekeeper a new direction, that we can just turn within and accept the guidance and clarity to transform our thoughts, transform the way we look at one another, transform the way we think about one another, and about our world, and about the things that are going on. So I'd like to just take this time to just evoke the presence of the Divine Spirit that is within me, that is within you, that is within each and every single fiber and every cell and every being on this planet. And we're all connected to it. It has no idea of color, of race, of sexuality, of any of those things. It doesn't even have a label. And it's got a million names. And so I just give thanks for this day. I give thanks to know that we're all connected. We're connected to all things, in all ways and in all ways. And so I'm grateful to be a part of today's service and to have the opportunity to just open up my heart space and allow all that is today, that takes place today, to just transform me to a greater I am than when I began at the beginning of this service. And so I give thanks for the music and for the affirmative reading and for the message and for the divine messenger. And I am so grateful for the conduit that our messenger is today and the message that our messenger brings today. And knowing that this service is filled with love, it's filled with joy, it's filled with celebration. And knowing that right here and right now, I'm so grateful for this day. and to celebrate this day. Not only celebrate this day, but celebrate each and every single moment, and not take anything for granted, but take it with such gratitude. And so I give thanks, and I know that this service is already perfect. It's already whole, and it's complete. And so let's just let the celebration begin. And so it is.
This Christmas, and as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be together. This Christmas, firesides blazing bright, we're caroling through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas. This Christmas, and as I look around, your eyes are shining down the blue. This Christmas, fireside is blazing bright. We're caroling through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me, yeah. Fireside is blazing bright. We're caroling through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me, yeah. Shake a hand now. All over the land. Have a Merry Christmas. You and me. A Merry Christmas. A Merry Christmas. Yeah,
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, this chilly Sunday in Memphis, December the 14th. I'm so very glad that you've joined us for this morning's Heartstream. Thank you very much for your tuning in. Thank you very much for your support. I always appreciate all of the things that you do to make this Heartstream possible and for us to get this message of New Thought, Ancient Wisdom out into the world. As we are in the month of December, we're moving toward the Christmas holiday that many people celebrate and many of you celebrate. We are also welcoming and celebrating the recognition of the Christ consciousness coming into the world and what all of that means. And so as we move through this month, we'll be talking about those things. Coming in January, there will be a sermon series on affirmative prayer, followed by a class on affirmative prayer at Unity Christian Church. Also in January, there will be on the first Sunday in January, January 4th, there will be the burning bowl ceremony, a white stone ceremony during the 11 a.m. Celebration at Unity Christian. And then that afternoon, right after the service at 1 p.m., there will be a digital vision board workshop, and I'm excited about that. It'll be my first time doing something like that, but I look forward to that opportunity and many other things as we move into the new year that we have available for you. Thank you again for all of your support. Thank you for the many ways in which you do that. And I'd like to also mention again our daily prayer call that you can be a part of each and every day at 8 a.m. and it lasts for approximately 7 minutes. We have some wonderful, wonderful prayer team partners, both from Unity and from Open Heart. And it's a wonderful day to start or continue your day. And as I always like to say, I greet you, I bless you, I see God in you.
Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
There are several ways to give to Open Heart: through our Cash App at OHSC 901, online at OHSC901.com, or text the word GIVE to 615-422-4290.
A powerful way to start or continue your day is with our daily prayer call. Each morning, at 8 a.m. Central Time, a prayer team member provides an inspirational reading and an affirmative prayer. Join us at 901-586-8755.
Hey, if you're in the Memphis area, each week you're invited to come out to Unity Christian Church, 3345 McCorkle Road, to join us for our Sunday celebration. This isn't just about John speaking, but it's about an opportunity for two powerful, wonderful congregations to come together. That's right, because we have people from Open Heart who join in singing, who work as platform assistants, and other things that happen on those Sundays. And if you're here, it's an opportunity for you to come out and to share with us. If you're not able to be here in person, you can always stream with us at Unity Christian Church, both on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. Hope to see you soon. Get ready to step into the new year. Join us for this sacred burning bowl ritual to release what no longer serves you and powerfully step into 2026. This will be on Sunday, January the 4th, during our morning worship celebration.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. With the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. With those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the hosting, marshmallows for toasting and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful time. Oh, the most wonderful time of the
It's the truth leaping in you. It's the truth leaping in you. For me, Christmas is the celebration of the Christ consciousness. It's about the birth of the Christ consciousness, which is a principle that is coming into the world, and it's in each and every one of us. And it's an awareness of this principle. And while I know so many of the celebrations focus on it from the perspective of a historical person, it came to me years and years and years ago, if this consciousness is not born in you, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I love, for example, this season and the songs that often are sung. I love how in my churches that sing the song, Jesus, Jesus, oh, what a wonderful child, and so holy, meek, and mild, to life and health, all he brings. Listen to the angels sing. I love the choirs raising their voices singing that. But if that consciousness is not born in you, if this is not a celebration also of the Christ consciousness being born in you, then I think that we miss out on something. And that's why I take this approach. And I know this message doesn't resonate with everyone. This awareness doesn't resonate. And I know that. I understand that. But I'm here today to talk about truth. And I also have made up my mind. It's part of my message, my preaching, talks, however you want to call it. I know so often there's the tendency to lean toward entertaining and all of that, but I'm about speaking and teaching the words of truth and operating from that particular perspective. So I want to start by talking about this story that comes in the first chapter of Luke, where Elizabeth is married to Zacharias. Zacharias is a priest in the temple, and the thing of it is that over the years have not been able to conceive. And one day an angel comes and speaks to him and tells him that his wife, who to this point had not been able to conceive a child, was going to conceive a child, and telling him all of the wonderful things about the child and what that would bring. And finally Elizabeth is elated about the fact that she's finally going to be able to have a child. And the understanding that she had is that now the scorn that she had faced from other people, the kinds of attitudes and the way that people had looked at her would be no more. And she went into seclusion for 5 months. And it tells us that in the 6th month, that Mary, who had also been visited by an angel and told that she was expecting, that she was pregnant with who would become Jesus, the master teacher, that she went to visit her. And as she walked in and she called out Elizabeth's name and started to talk to her, the scriptures describe that the baby inside of Elizabeth, who we know also would become John the Baptizer, leaped inside of her. And that story has always fascinated me because I think about the metaphysical significance of it. The fact that here you have a response to truth that is being evidenced, is being seen in this particular situation, that John the Baptizer, in the presence of the divine, or Jesus would ultimately grow into understanding his Christ consciousness and taking on his Christ consciousness, was there in even that moment. And so I want to ask you, did you know that each of you has the ability within you to recognize the truth? The capacity to respond to the truth. That there's an inner guidance in you that is more literal than any book, that is clearer than any crystal ball, that is deeper than any divining rod, that is tougher than any tea leaves, that is sounder than any psychic, that is more than anything else. What is it? It is the divine within. And when we understand this, when we understand that there is a guide that is located inside of us, that dwells inside of us, it allows us to approach the facts with truth, and the truth will transform the experience. And I know so often we get caught up in truth and conditions. In other words, talking about what is happening around us, the things that we hear daily in the news about things that are going on with the crime rate, with the economy, with factories closing or companies closing, layoffs, and all of that. And we look at those things as facts, and we can get caught up in facts without recognizing that in the midst of the situation, there are facts, and we can't deny facts, but there's also truth, and that the truth will transform the experiences that we are having. Truth will transform and supersede facts when we understand this. First, understanding this truth, this essential truth, that we are expressions of God. We are God in expression. You hear me say this over and over and over and over again. And the reason why I say it is because it's true. It is the truth. We are expressions of God. And when I first began Open Heart, that was a concept that was challenging for many people to think of themselves as being God in expression, because we have been taught in many cases so long about how unworthy and what miserable sinners and all of that we are. But ultimately, we are expressions of God. We are God in expression. We understand that the story in Genesis about creation is an allegory, but part of that is it talks about being made in the image and likeness of God. And I remember being in seminary, and my really kind of dry Old Testament professor, he had a dry sense of humor and really didn't seem to get excited about much. But I can recall one particular class where he was teaching about this particular passage in the book of Genesis, and he was dealing with it in the Hebrew and what it meant and all of the meaning that was there. And I remember him become, in his way, excited, because as he was talking, he looked over and he observed one of my classmates. And she had to bring her daughter to school that particular day. And as she sat there, her mother had given her some crayons and a coloring book and some other things to keep her occupied and quiet while class was going on. And he said he began to notice that the daughter was holding her crayon the same manner in which her mother was holding her pen. And she was leaning her head at kind of the same angle as her mother. And as he looked further at the daughter, he could see in her physical features how she resembled her mother. And then it came to him that that's what it's like to be created in the image and likeness of God, that each of us is a unique and individualized expression of God. And in our own way, our own ways of expressing ourselves, our own ways of being ourselves, we are unique, individualized expressions of God. And the real meaning of individual, and I know that in the culture in the United States, we talk about being individual. I'm my own self. Don't nobody mess with me. I'm one. I'm me. You don't know me. I'm individual. But individual in its true essence and true meanings, to be individualized means to be a part of the whole. That we are a distinct part of the whole, but we are still connected to the whole. So in other words, all that God is, we are. All that God is, we are. I had an interesting thing happen to me this week. One, I was on campus. We are having to move our offices to another building, and I was packing up, and I ran into a person there. And when I asked them how they were doing, they said, "I'm amazing." And I smiled at that and said yes. And then I walked on to my office not thinking any more about it. And then they came around to the office and said, I want to apologize. I said, apologize about? Well, when you asked me how I was doing, I said I was doing amazing. I didn't really mean that, because I know that the only person that is amazing is God. And I sat there and I listened to what the person had to say. Number one, I was saying to myself, which is something that we should do when we find ourselves not being in the presence of what we see as being true or truth. I was saying that's not my reality, but I also said to the person, and I'm not sure they were ready yet to hear me, I said, but I believe. I didn't condemn her. I said, I believe that you are also amazing, and that I am amazing, and that everybody else is amazing, and that yes, God is amazing. But it's important to recognize and see that not everybody comes from that awareness. Not everybody has that particular consciousness. So it's important to understand this. It's important to know that when we align ourselves with the collective consciousness, rather than our own divinity, we get out of integrity. We get out of sorts. We get out of whack. And a way to know whether you are out of sorts, out of integrity, is examine whether you are following what we call in old school metaphysics, old school new thought, race consciousness. Now, race consciousness has nothing to do with ethnicity, nothing to do with race. As we think about black people, white people, Hispanic people, Latinx people, Asian people, none of that. Race consciousness refers to the human race, the collective consciousness. And that is when you hear again the things that people are saying about in the news, when you see, and I keep noticing that, and I don't know why it is, and I'm noticing that other than the fact that I have to keep applying truth principles, but some of my friends who do what, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more again later, but what's called an organ recital. They are listing all of the illnesses and the sicknesses and the aches and pains and everything else in their social media accounts, and I'm having this today and I'm feeling that way and all of that. And when we again hear about the economy, when we hear about the political situation, when we hear about crime and all of that, and we go down the rabbit hole thinking that things are so bad, when we go down the rabbit hole thinking that everybody's getting sick and everything else, that is race consciousness. We are subscribing to race consciousness, and we are not applying the truth to what it is that is about the situation and circumstances. And that is why it's important that when we see this happening, that we do things like meditate and center ourselves, that we do the things to learn to connect with the divine within. As Neil Donald Walsh said, if you fail to go within, then you will do without. That's why we use affirmations, because affirmations and meditation and spiritual mind treatment are all about conditioning your mind. And if you don't condition your own mind, then someone else will. It's about learning how to reframe situations and circumstances. It's about learning how to look at and see things from another perspective, understanding that there's always another perspective, that there's always the truth perspective in which we can see things and understand things. Yes, the economy can be struggling in many ways right now, but also understanding that in the midst of this, there's still the opportunity to experience the abundance of life, to experience prosperity, to have things going on. I know it's tough. I'm in the grocery stores as you are. I get the same utility bills that you do. I have that awareness and that understanding. But reframing the situation and knowing that we live in an abundant universe helps to lift up our awareness, and it helps to lift up our consciousness. And again, talking about an organ recital, that's again when people get into talking about their aches and pains and all of that. Rather than talking about that and dwelling on that, one of the things I learned to say is, I'm working on my healing. Pray for my healing. Don't get into an organ recital. And when a person is getting into with you or talking about how because the weather is changing so much, all of us will be sick, all of us will have colds, say again to yourself, that's not my consciousness. That's not my reality. That's not my reality. Understanding that. You see, our perception of truth, our consciousness is working all the time. And when someone says something negative about us, or we think negative thoughts, there's a feeling that we have, a feeling that we get that the truth isn't being expressed. Now, we can get caught up in that and we can begin feeling bad. And oftentimes when things say something, people say something negative to us, or we start thinking negative thoughts, the bad feelings that we have is that indicator that we are out of alignment, that we are not in that truth consciousness. And it is a way that that spirit within us has of reminding us of that way it has of helping us to know that just as if you're driving down the highway and how they have the ridges over the side, when you start getting too close to the side of the road and you start hearing those ridges hitting your tire and all of that, that there is something within us that helps us to know that we're getting close to running off of the road. We're getting close to running off track. That our perception of truth is working all the time. You see, there's a richness to life, a richness to us, but we can miss it. I talked about all the time about labeling and how from Krishnamurti, the fact that when we begin labeling things, then we begin missing out on the real essence of all of that. If you tell the child the name of a bird, it will never see that bird again. And it will always be this. It will always be that. It's our thoughts about people and circumstances. I think about a friend of mine years ago who had a good friend that she suspected of stealing something from her. And she started labeling her a thief and talking about how untrustworthy she was and how she couldn't be around her much because of that. And then she discovered that the item that she suspected her friend of stealing, she never even had. It never even was that person. But all of that time, every time she saw her, her only perception of her from that point on was a person being untrustworthy, a person who was a thief. And so often we get caught up in labeling and pigeonholing people and pigeonholing circumstances and all of that, and not really understanding that we can take in the full essence and allow truth to come forth. We also so often find that we look outside of ourselves for guidance, and we let external events determine how we feel. We let external events determine how we feel. I am a big proponent of each and every day that when we first wake up in the morning, that in fact, scratch that before we go to bed at night, and you've heard me talk about my reality and the way that I do things, is that I have a list of gratitude for things that have happened to me that day. And I go through that list of gratitude. I express thankfulness for those things. And it's anywhere from 3 to 5 things, but I don't limit it. I let it go as long as it goes. And I allow myself to go to sleep feeling grateful and thankful. But even more than that, I begin programming the next day the things that I wish to have expressed in my life and manifest in my life. And I do the things that I do to outline those things so that the next day I get up and I'm ready to approach the day. I use the phrase all the time, a day full of promise, potential, possibility, and opportunity. I like what the teachers Abraham talk about, this whole notion and idea of optimistic renewal. I don't know about you, but I get a ton of emails every day that are talking about, teaching a better way, touting a better way, this course, this lesson, all of that. But I recognize also that what I need, I already have inside. What I need, I already have inside. And when I understand that, when I recognize that what is inside of me, what is the divine, the divinity that is a part of me, it makes all the difference. And I want to say something to you. If you are stuck in your life, then you are stuck in your mind. So pull the anchor up. Pull the anchor up. When that person said to me, only God is amazing, that inside of my mind, something else had come over me, because I realized in that moment that not only was God amazing, but she was amazing, I was amazing, you were amazing. The truth was leaping up in me, that when I understand that the truth is leaping up in me and I am in this moment, recognizing and realizing that when we have our consciousness, when we make that shift, when we have that optimistic renewal come forth in our lives, the truth comes forth and the truth informs us. The truth shows us the way and guides us the way. Spirit, God, the universe, however it is that Jesus, however it is that we wish to call it, Allah, we understand in all of these moments and all of this awareness and understanding is the truth leaping up in us. Many of you know that I had a serious health challenge that I came through that started in this month, December of 2018. And it is something that many people, a part of the Open Heart spiritual community and my family members and friends and beyond, supported me through this entire challenge, including having to learn to walk again and all of those things. But the fact of the matter is, I am grateful and thankful to be at this point. And just the other day on my Facebook page, I posted a new profile picture. And I didn't intend for it to go out in the way that it did, but so many people commented on it and so many people liked it and loved it. But there are a few people who all this time continue to talk about how well I look considering what I've been through, and want to talk about again how sick I was. And what they don't understand is that in my mind, I'm aware of that. I'm understanding of what happened to me. But I am where I am now, and I feel better than I felt ever before in my life. And I know that in my awareness and my understanding in this Christ consciousness that is a part of me, that I am healthy, whole, and complete. And when I would hear them or see those expressions from some of those people, there was a part of me that was struggling with that, because I understood in that moment that that's not my truth and that's not my reality. So I would not take those things on. I would say again to myself, that's not my reality. When your health isn't the best, your truth ought to be leaping up in you, understanding that you are an expression of God, and because God cannot be sick, that you also cannot be sick. And you are, again, as I mentioned earlier, that you are working on your healing and asking those around you who are like mind, who are holding the space and holding the consciousness, to pray also for your healing. When your money is funny and change is strange and credit won't get it, you can think about those things and hear about those things, but the truth ought to be leaping up in you, that I'm a rich child of a rich God, and God's abundance is my everyday reality, and I always have more than enough success and money to handle my responsibilities. I have a prosperity consciousness. This time of year, we understand and we are celebrating the things that are a part of this tradition moving toward the light, because the understanding of the light is the fact that it's the Christ consciousness coming into the world. It's a consciousness coming into the world that despite whatever kind of darkness that we might see, whether it is a physical darkness or whether it's an existential darkness, whatever else, that in the midst of all of that, light comes. Light already exists, and it's about moving beyond the darkness, appreciating the darkness, embracing the darkness, but walking into the marvelous light. As we understand these things, as we become aware of these things, the truth ought to be leaping in you when you hear the truth, when you know the truth, when you know who you are, when you know that you know that you know that you know. This awareness and understanding that you are God in expression. This awareness and understanding that you are amazing. This awareness and understanding that you are healthy, whole, and complete, expressing well-being, expressing perfection, expressing love and peace and joy, and all of those things that are part of this awareness. When you understand that, the truth is leaping in you, is jumping in you, it's shouting in you. It is informing you and guiding you and directing you. And so it is.
Lots of happy little children waiting for sunrise, a stocking full of candy and a big surprise. Look at the happiness in their eyes, they're glad it's Christmas. People caroling into the night, where the snow is falling, their sleigh bell rise tonight. We'll snuggle to a nice warm fire. I'm glad it's Christmas, but before this day gets underway, think of how much love you wish to give today. Then wonder why we can't give it all every day. There is no reason every season needs love. People really need one another. Man, woman, boy, girl, sister, and brother. We wish happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you. And for this holiday season celebration, let's lift our hands to the holy nation to say thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Happy birthday to your son. Happy holidays to you. Hope is the strength we need. Love is to share it. Peace is to be with everyone. Hey, hey, hey. Happy holidays to you. To you. Happy holidays to you. People really need one another. Man, woman, boy, girl, sister, and brother. We wish happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you. We wish you happy holidays. Whoa. Ooh.